Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Great to have you here today. As always, we are doing our weekend edition of the show. We affectionately refer to as the Cabral HouseCalls, my way of being able to hopefully step into your home and hopefully answer some of our community's questions to the best of my ability. So usually we're getting in 6 to 8 questions or so each day, Saturday and Sunday, 15 to 20 questions per weekend. And it's really my time to share with you a starting point, a place to get started, something that you may not have thought about before, or even thinking about what lab should I run based on my current health-based symptoms. So whether it's wellness, whether it's weight loss, anti-aging, mindset, health coaching careers, children's health, prenatal, you name it. Again, we've seen it pretty much all by now. We really have. When you've been working for, a couple decades and you've worked with and completed over, now, at least 300,000 client appointments, there's a lot that you can kind of gather data-wise just from essentially running your own in-house research. And that's really what we've been doing. I mean, that type of research allows us to say, okay, based on all of these other cases, yours is similar to this, this, and this. And because we see those similarities, we really believe that this set of labs or these set of protocols is going to be exactly what you're missing in order to achieve the wellness, weight loss, or anti-aging based effects that you're looking for. And that's what I try to provide you right here on those Cabral HouseCalls. I know that we're usually somewhere about 6 weeks to 8 weeks behind, and it's no different. And that's typically what it is week in and week out. And it's simply because, we get another 20 questions or so per week. So, it takes a little bit just to catch up. And where we are right now in the queue is the beginning of March. March 8th, this first question came in. So let's dive right into it. First question today is from Simon. And Simon says, "Hi, and thanks again, Dr. Cabral. I'm wondering how to best avoid contracting a gut parasite virus bacteria whilst traveling. I have a history of IBS-D and parasite infections, multiple blasto, and I will have just finished a parasite intestinal SIBO and finisher protocols before traveling to Bali in June. I'm desperate not to reverse all my hard work and healing and also to stop my family catching something. What are the things that I should take before, during, after my trip to protect my gut and avoid contacting something? I'm willing to go the extra mile and would love a detailed protocol." Well, I'm happy to give you my advice on this. Again, based on what I did heading overseas to India and China and Sri Lanka and many other places where the chances of catching a parasite are quite high. So one thing that I do share with people is that I'm not going to eat I'm not going to eat any undercooked fish and any undercooked meat. And I didn't eat a whole lot of meat in general, no pork, when I was overseas traveling. So that was easy in India. There's a lot of pork where I was in Old Beijing in China at the traditional Chinese medicine hospital that I was interning at. But what else did I do? Let me give you some more definitive things. And again, I can't provide you with any treatments, cures, everything that we're supposed to not do, right? So we can't diagnose disease, we can't treat, we can't cure, all of those different things that we leave for the realm of conventional medicine. But what I did was I took betaine HCl, which is, it increases your ability to produce stomach acid. So I would take mid-meal, I would take 2 to 3 capsules. And that would enable me to feel a little warmth in my stomach. You definitely don't want any burning. And that would help build up my stomach acid. The other thing that I would do is I ate, again, fairly safe foods. And I would not be against, which I often do, using some of those anti-parasitic herbs while traveling. It's easy because, we have a product just called ParaPro. That's what it is, or ParaSupport, I should say, because we recently renamed that. And sometimes we have to, just because of the legality issues in the world. It's kind of crazy. It's like you have to someone named their product that first, so you can't copy that. Listen, I get it, but some things are really, really close. So if you just go to equilibriumnutrition.com, and why don't I do it along with you right now? And we'll just type in para in that little search box. it should pop up with exactly what you're looking for, which is the Para Support Protocol. So simply put, you could use the Para Pro Support product, and you could take that for sure. Very easy, 3 capsules a day, no problem at all. But what you could also do is, even just using a little bit of oregano oil for sure will help. So it's a starting point. Use your daily digestive enzymes, use your betaine HCl, don't eat anything too crazy or undercooked, and also make sure you purify your water, because one of the easiest ways to get a parasite is honestly from water and not even from food. So that means all of your water should have been filtered or treated, and when possible, buy bottled water while in Bali or overseas. I know the plastic is not great for the environment, but I'm telling you, the parasite is not a good thing to deal with either. So it's always trying to find that happy medium. I brought water purifying tablets overseas as well, and you can also use iodine. And let it just sit in the water for at least 30 minutes. All right, Kirsty's up next. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for everything you do. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I continually look to your podcast for advice. Just a question on recurring UTIs. I've had success with your UTI protocol in the past and managed to avoid antibiotic use. I don't have any digestive issues and no other symptoms. I'm repeating the oats test, which is our Candida vitamins and metabolic test, to see if any changes from last year. Can UTIs recur because of biofilm in your bladder? I was just wondering, if so, what's the best way to remove these? Would this show up in the oats? Thanks. Much thanks. Okay. Thank you, Kirsty, for writing in. Happy to help you with this. So there's a couple ways to look at this. You can actually You can be okay on a Candida metabolic and vitamins test, also called the organic acids test. And what you'll want to do, if that usually comes up clear, is actually run a bacteria and parasite stool test, because there is a specific form of bacteria called E. coli. We often see people come back with a +4, basically no growth in NG. Well, so we're using a different stool and parasite test now, because the company we were using for many, many years, they were in business for about 3 decades. They recently closed up shop. I don't know if that was because of all the pandemics and everything going on and trying to be able to stay open. But regardless, we're using another great lab, and they test for H. pylori. And so we test for H. pylori and bacterial overgrowth, and we test for parasites on that lab. So it's fantastic. It's a 3-day test as well. And we're happy to be offering that again now at Equilibrium Nutrition. So I recommend that to look for E. coli overgrowth. E. coli overgrowth is one of those main bacteria that I've seen show up over and over and over for women with urinary tract infections. So the other part is just maintaining the proper pH. So for about 6 weeks or so, I'll often have women use 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar mixed with water in the morning. You can add a little bit of baking soda to it if you want. You can add a little bit of lemon to it if you want. It's okay. You can just use apple cider vinegar if you'd like. And then I have them do that about an hour after dinner at night as well. It's great for digestion, and it helps with not pH of the blood, but pH of the tissues. So that has to be the Bragg's, or it has to be a raw apple cider vinegar. It can't be a processed one. It won't work. Shake it up, just add a tablespoon. Some people love the taste, some people don't like the taste. Either way, it's good to use. Okay, but again, we're talking about a healthy urinary tract. We're not talking about treating UTIs. So the other thing is, our healthy urinary tract protocol is second to none. I mean, I've been using that for years in my practice, and it's unbelievable. I mean, use it for 3 days, and I think you'll really enjoy the benefits. Just D-mannose, ascorbic acid, can't be regular vitamin C, has to be ascorbic acid, can't be the alkalizing vitamin C, again, has to be the ascorbic acid. Remember, there's a time and a place for every vitamin and every mineral. This one, we need the acidity from that. So ascorbic acid, D-mannose, and we use our citracetyl drops. I don't even think any of those companies are Equilibrium Nutrition. Maybe the ascorbic acid right now. Yeah, the vitamin C crystals, maybe. But again, you could use anybody's if you want. I just recommend following our protocol because we know it works. So that's that. And then again, look for that E. coli on that stool test. And then if we need to, of course, we'll do our CBO protocol in order to get rid of that. And then we'll seal up the gut wall, because this might be a case of intestinal permeability. All right, hopefully that gets you started. Erin's up next. I know you had both your tonsils and adenoids out, I believe, and while I've managed my phlegm significantly, I still end up spitting up small bits of phlegm occasionally. They do happen more often in the morning and less chronic. I'm a level 2 IHP, and I've done all your protocols, and they've helped tremendously, especially my gut and my skin issues, which is why I did your IHP course. I wonder if, because I don't have tonsils or adenoids, this is just how my body is going to take care of it. I don't eat the major foods that cause phlegm, especially the common food sensitivity, or allergens, especially dairy, gluten, peanuts, and mindful of the other ones like soy when I need to be flexible for travel or going out with friends? What is your professional opinion on this? Yeah, it's a great question. And unfortunately, it does sometimes come with the territory of having a little bit of phlegm every once in a while in the back of your throat that you have to clear in the morning. And that's because when you're lying down at night, your sinus passages are actually draining. They are working themselves as well. I mean, believe me, there is a whole lot of white blood cell action going on in those sinuses in order to deal with any pathogens that you may have breathed in. I just did a podcast on this. Let me see if I can get you the number on that. Check it out just 3 days ago or so. It was episode 1546, How Toxins Enter the Body. Check that out. One of the ways is breathing it in. Today's episode 1549, for anybody who wants to follow along with these questions, I definitely recommend it. StephenCabral.com/1549. You can read all these questions along with me. But here's the thing. I don't wake up every day with phlegm in the back of my throat. Some days I do, some days I don't. If I sleep with a window open, sometimes I'll get just a little bit. I mean, it's not major, but a little bit. But usually not. It definitely, it's more if I do a cheat meal, that's for sure. So keep in mind though, even healthy foods could cause a little bit of phlegm. And that's why, I'm such a huge proponent. This is what I've done for so long. And I've talked about it many times. Check out my show on the rotation diet. I would love for you to check this out, Aaron, and for everybody. Essentially what I did was I did a rotation diet for myself. And then I made my diet so simple that all I did was eat the foods that I knew were non-reactive. It was a super boring diet, but honestly, I didn't care because I was feeling great. And then what I would do, and I work with all my private wellness clients this way, this is what I do. I simply add one new food in. That's it. One new food, I eat it twice within a 3-day period of time. Did it cause any extra phlegm? Cause any fatigue, joint pain, acne, anything, like anything. Sometimes, believe it or not, I get a little bit of acne every once in a while, like a little pimple will pop up if I eat a lot of chocolate. People say that chocolate doesn't correlate with acne. Well, in my case, it does. Actually, in one of my brothers, it does the same exact thing. My other siblings, it doesn't. So that's where bioindividuality comes in. And that's why we have to know that. And believe it or not, the darker the chocolate, sometimes the more severe the reaction. I don't have major reactions. If I want to deal with one pimple, then that's okay, So we have to look at all these things. Sometimes even healthy foods can cause it, but you'll be able to find it for sure. And then you keep expanding your diet and you know exactly what you can eat and what you can't eat and what causes phlegm and what doesn't, because phlegm is typically a sign that your body is creating some type of immune reaction to an aggravant, something that causes a little bit of inflammation. Okay, thanks, Aaron. Next up is Meg, wondering if there is a specific podcast educating on natural ways to balance hormones after ovulation. PMDD with major depression, mental illness after ovulation until period. Yes, so this is something that it's common. Don't get me wrong, it's common. It's not as common as feeling the major depression, the bloating, the acne, the low mood, the fatigue, the brain fog 5 days to 7 days before your period. That's what we call that major estrogen dominance. Basically, it comes from not high levels of estrogen, typically, sometimes about 1 in 10, but 9 out of 10 times, it's actually lower levels of progesterone, normal levels of estrogen. However, you get all the effects of high estrogen. Check out my podcast on female hormones, all right? That will teach you all about that. So many podcasts, by the way, on female hormones. Anytime you can't find a podcast, all you need to do is head on over to CabralSupportGroup.com. That's our free Facebook group. Feel free to click join and you'll be let in within 24 hours. Ask your question. Michelle, Aaron, we've got so many people on the team that are willing to help you out. Daniel, lots of great coaches over there. Okay, but what about if it happens right after ovulation? Well, it's a little bit different. What is going on in the body that's causing these major symptoms? This is how we can tell. Okay, so we can tell a few ways. Well, the best way is this. I'm going to be honest with you. The best way is to run that stress hormones, mood and metabolism test when you get your major symptoms. The instructions typically say day 19 or 20 or so of your cycle on a normal stress day. However, with you'll do it when you get your major depressive or mental illness, as you call it, right after ovulation. So that's when you run that lab. Do you go over a 3.0 in estrogen? Maybe you do. That's what we want to check out. Then we'll begin to do things like cruciferous vegetables, detoxes, estrogen balance, to help with those hormone levels. Or what if it's a higher level of testosterone peaking? It'd be unlikely, but it's possible. So we look at that. We look at it along with thyroid. We look at it along with blood sugar. We look at it along with cortisol. Remember, it's never one thing typically. And I mean, that's how we help women with their cycles all the time. Like, no doubt about it, all the time. I'm going to be teaching courses on this, more courses. I teach it inside of IHP. So if you want the full course, you can simply join at integrativehealthpractitioner.org during the next open enrollment. It's closed right now, but you can be on the waiting list at integrativehealthpractitioner.org, where I teach all of this in depth for the public, and then also for those that want to become a certified health coach as well. So there we have it. Hopefully that helps. And one thing that you could try right away is simply seed cycling. And I have a podcast on that completely free as well. So just type in seed cycling and you'll find my podcast with seeds. That's it. Seeds that you can start to implement. Very specific though, 4 specific seeds. At 2 during your follicular phase and 2 during your luteal phase. Okay, Aaron's up next. I don't know if it's the same Aaron as 2 people ago, but let's check it out. Aaron says, hello, love your show and thank you for all you do. I was wondering if it's safe to take milk thistle and or liver detoxing herbs and teas daily, such as dandelion and burdock to support the liver and detoxification. Thanks. It's a great question. I really don't have an issue with low dose milk thistle, silymarin, or dandelion, or burdock. Great one, burdock root as well, right? Burdock's fantastic. It's one of my favorites. So I have no problem with a low dose of that every day. However, I'm just not an advocate of it either. I really don't recommend, I shouldn't say that. I'm okay with a lower dose. I don't recommend higher dose herbal products on a daily basis because herbs are medicine. Like that's literally herbs are nature's medicine. You don't eat herbs. Sure, you eat some dried oregano for some spice and some rosemary, but you're not taking down handfuls of milk thistle or echinacea or burdock root. Super bitter in nature. That's why we encapsulate them. So yes, okay, a low dose I'm okay with, but you always ask yourself, do you need it, right? Do you need it? On that, the Candida metabolic and vitamins test that I always talk about, part of the starter kit, you would be able to check like, hey, what's my glutathione levels like? And you could certainly support it with a little bit on a daily basis with N-acetylcysteine, with some milk thistle, burdock. But what we do is we just recommend people, again, use that daily nutritional support powder. It's really 15 supplements in one, and it's for like $2 a day. I mean, it's the best deal in the world. It really is. That's why we created it. Hey, listen, if no one does anything else and you just take the daily nutritional support, that's why I made it for people that may not do anything else. If they take that, they cover themselves on 15 different supplements. Fiber, protein, electrolytes, B vitamins, all of your vitamins. You get a little vitamin C with 400 milligrams. You get sulforaphane for the liver. You're getting some N-acetylcysteine. You're getting glutamine. What else are you getting? You're getting, additional fiber like I spoke about before. It's just a great product. I mean, and that's what helps you every day. And then every 12 weeks, well, that's when you go big. That's when you do your functional medicine detox for 7 days or maybe more. You're adding more of those liver detoxifiers. So thanks, Aaron, for writing in. All right, let's get to at least one more question. Is the Rain Barrel book available by podcast at all? I answered that question yesterday, so we won't go over that right now. Basically, you're asking, is the Rain Barrel effect available as an audio? And currently it's not. Check out yesterday why and why I hope to be able to in the future. All right, let's get in one more question because we're on a roll. All right, Sue's asking, I wrote in a while ago about chronic hip pain and you suggested I see a chiropractor regarding impingement in the vertebrae in my spine. Podcast 1478. She sent me for x-rays, 3 regions, spine, pelvis, and she'll be able to fix most of it, but there is degeneration in the joints, osteopenic and spondylitic changes. I am going to do the 21-day detox, but is there a supplement I can take to heal the bone? Thank you so much for suggesting I see the chiropractor. I never would have thought to do that. Her treatments are amazing. Appreciate you. You're incredible with your knowledge. Regards, Sue. Thank you, Sue, for writing in. Amazing that you did a follow-up. I mean, I love hearing the follow-ups, right? Because I give this advice. I don't know if it's resonating. I'm on one side. I want to be able to connect more with people. I hope to do more live events in the future. I really do. I would love to meet you. I really would. Because again, my practice used to be 60 hours a week in my wellness center. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. But how many people would I see maximum in that 60 hours? Oh, probably 40 people, right? So that's great. Love that. And now we're seeing well over, tens of thousands of people a day on the podcast. So I don't get to, see that energy exchange. I don't get to see those eyes, So when I did my last event for IHP, it was IHP Live Australia. It was just great to be able to meet with so many of our health coaches and just people who want to meet over there in Australia. Anyway, back to you, Sue, and your question. So I'm glad you went to see the chiropractor. Remember, there's all sorts of different chiropractors. If you go to see a knowledgeable chiropractor, it can be absolutely amazing. So I'm glad that you're working on that. For the degeneration of the spine, what you want to do is you want to make sure there's no further degeneration. You want to make sure that you're taking the daily foundational protocol level 2, in my opinion. Again, I can't give you a treatment protocol, can't cure. I don't want you to think that, but this is what I would do. Daily foundation protocol level 2, CalMag complete, 2 to 3 capsules a day. Right around dinner is fine. 1 at lunch, 2 at dinner is great. I would use extra magnesium at night if you need to, totally up to you. And then you may want to use a product, an add-on, such as a turmeric or a boswellia, which is Indian frankincense, some bromelain. Those are the great anti-inflammatories that can be really helpful as well. So thank you, Sue, for writing in. Appreciate you. Really amazing. Keep working. I'm telling you right now, though, even maybe do some back inversion. So meaning like get a tilt table where you're tipping yourself upside down, or you don't even need to. I mean, you can just lie backwards and you can kind of invert yourself. That works great too. Take the pressure off the spine, work on your core, open up your psoas muscles, iliopsoas, your hip flexors, which will take some pressure off your spine. Continue to strengthen the core, continue to strengthen the glutes. So working with a good personal trainer or muscular therapist or functional range conditionist will help with that. I feel like I want to go all out and to try to help you, Sue, here. So yeah, all of those things will help. And again, the whole de-stress protocol, right? Make sure you're sleeping in the right position, etc. Okay, great question. I see the next question right here. I'm kind of sneaking a peek. And it says from Isabel, wondering if any word on Dr. Cabral's book, The Rain Barrel Effect, being available on audio format. I would love to give it as a gift to friends who never seem to have the time as a multitask. Please, please, please. It's too good a book not to have on Audible. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, everyone who keeps saying, I get it. I'm listening loud and clear. Check out yesterday's explanation at stephencabral.com/1548. You know, it's not a good excuse, right? We all have excuses. My excuse is time. Time's not a good excuse, right? So I'm going to work on it. I really am. Make me accountable, right? Stay on top of me. I will get that done. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Keep spreading the message. Remember, keep spreading that message, right? That's why the house calls are not just about us. It's not just about you. It's listening in for a friend, a coworker, a family member, someone in need that needs this information. Share the podcast with them, share the advice, take credit for it. That's okay, but just keep sharing this information. All right, take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. I'll talk with you soon. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.